Willkommen alle sammen, continuing our shamanism series here on the channel and how it relates to the Norse practices that we know out from the historical sources. Shamanism is something that I know a bit about from studying these traditions from around the world, but I thought it would be a way better idea to have a couple way more knowledgeable people than myself speak about it, and actually who do these things professionally. Shaman Mystical Crow is a professional shaman certified in the state of New Jersey, specifically with the Four Winds certified and a Peruvian tradition. Also trained in the Lakota tradition by mentorship. She is also a Munay-ki certified teacher, and she also has reached master level in Reiki and Tarot and astrology certified. I've known her for a couple of years actually because she's specifically interested in the Norse tradition, and we've helped each other in many ways fill in the blanks of our historical sources and actually put them into practice by helping others professionally as she does for work. Her mentor, Shaman Silverwolf, is also a certified shaman in multiple states, trained specifically in the Peruvian Cuero tribe and the New Mexico-based Lakota tribe by way of family relation. He is also Four Wind Society and Munay-ki certified, and he additionally has certifications in medical nutrition, naturopathic medicine, American Academy of Traumatic Stress Counseling, and a long list of other great certifications and qualifications that you will find on their website here. I only go over their background because both of my guests are the best of both worlds as far as these subjects go. There are scholars out there that can teach you all the academic stuff, but they have no mind whatsoever for spirituality. On the other hand, there are legit shamans from around the world who are great, but maybe they are not even able to read, let alone use a computer or complete any courses or training like that. So, my guests who are on today are best of both worlds. They are amazing from both the academic side and putting these things into practice. They haven't just studied these things, but they practice them every day professionally, helping others through therapy, ritual, and other services. So, very valuable minds for us in the Norse beliefs who are trying to discover more of our lost history, and I'm proud to call both of these guests my friends. They are also hosting an online course on the Munay-ki rites, which is a fantastic start for someone who wants to really get more into these subjects and even potentially do it professionally one day like my guests are doing. That course info will be on the screen here and also in the link down below. Last chance to sign up for this season start is this week. And if any of you want more info, you can check that out. So buckle up. This is just a short version of the podcast for YouTube, covering the general questions that most people are going to be interested in. And for the more spiritually curious people, the full interview will be uploaded to my Patreon where we dive deeper into the more spiritual topics as I always do there. So here we go for the podcast.
Yeah, welcome alle sammen. We have a very special episode for you guys today. And over the next couple months, we're going to be covering shamanism and different types of subjects revolving around that and the parallels in the Norse tradition. But very important today, we're going to have two actual trained official shamans on the show. Christina, I've known for quite some time, and Shaman Silverwolf just joining for the first time today. So very good to meet you, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So really quickly, would you guys go into like an introduction and background, how you both got into shamanism, how you were trained, where you learned, and how is it that one would go about becoming a certified or official shaman, whatever title you is typically given for that.
Okay. I'll go first. My background in shamanism, like anything, shamanism is a calling. It actually is a calling. If you have it in you, you will do it. It's not like something that you wake up one day and say, oh, I want to do this. It's an actual calling. Just like I always compare the calling to Reiki. A lot of people can't even say Reiki. So Reiki is in you. But if you want to learn Reiki, that's a calling. It's not something you wake up to and say, you know what, I'm going to do Reiki. One day I was just Googling and I Googled a name. I was Googling actually a name, and the letters got close to Alberto. And Alberto just jumped up, and I'm saying, wow, who's this guy? Because I never heard of him. So I went on there, and that was him. He became my mentor. I learned shamanism through him, Alberto Vidello. He wrote many books. He's well known. He's been he's been a shaman over 40 years, so he's stable. He's in Chile. He lives in Chile. So I trained underneath him. To become a shaman, you have to have dedication. You can't look at it and say, you have to be dedicated. That's why I say, once again, it's a calling. And I want to stress that because you really have to feel it to want to do it. It's deep inside you, and that's what makes you a good shaman. So I trained with him. I went to California. I went to Peru. He is an amazing mentor. And if anybody wants to get involved in shamanism, just find a good shaman to mentor under, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so I'll step in because that's a good transition. So Shaman Silver Wolf here is my mentor. So that's how the lineage continued. And long story short, to sum it up, one day I walked into the business that Shaman Silver Wolf and his partner own one day, and it's almost like a blur from that moment. It was just, I went there for, I think it was like chakra courses, I think is what I started with, like chakra courses and Reiki and everything like that. And then I just felt I needed to get involved in this place more. And I started helping them out, like trying to help out with classes, like cleaning up and stuff like that. Then I was doing readings there because I'm very heavily into divination and all that kind of stuff. And one day Silver Wolf comes to me and he was like, all right, I've been watching. He's a very observant man. It's like, I've been watching and I've been all the things you've been doing as we've been getting closer. He was like, do you want to learn shamanism? And I became his first student, which was, you told me it was foretold you would have a female as your first student. Mm-hmm. So it all just it all lined up, and it's been a wild ride since that. I've really discovered who I am through shamanism. It was that calling, and it was like all the little things I did between the Reiki, between the divination, between the drums, between the rocks and the stones and all that stuff. I'm finding out in shamanism that's considered medicine. All these things I've done my entire life has been medicine. So it just, I don't know, it just worked. And on the day of my ceremony of kind of officially becoming a shaman, you need, you have ceremonies to like make your markers because these things are supposed to be celebrated. But as Silver Wolf and Carol have told me, they're like, you've always been a shaman. It's always been there. We're just giving you a name now. We're just giving you a title. So they gave me a name, and they named me Shaman Mystical Crow. And to answer your question you did earlier, to be kind of like a certified, recognized shaman, that's a little weird because mostly you're recognized as a shaman through your community, through your peers, through your lineage, where you've learned it from. And it doesn't have to be blood relative. Like Silver Wolf is not related to Alberto Vidello in blood, but related by spirit. So we need to pass it on from person to person. So you get recognized amongst your community through your lineage. And I mean, if you need the piece of paper, like I have the piece of paper in the state of New Jersey that tells me I am a certified legal shaman and I can perform marriages and ceremonies and stuff like that. But that's just a piece of paper. The paper doesn't make you the shaman. It's the soul. It's the willingness. It's the dedication and the commitment of actually living your life this way, to where it surrounds you, where it's a constant filter that you go through in your life, that every experience you have and every reaction you have goes through this filter of a shamanic way. And as you can see all behind me, it engulfs your life in every way, shape, or form.
I like that. I like that you brought that up, because that's what I was wondering, and it's what a lot of people are going to be wondering watching. How do you become a an official song. Everybody wants like titles, everybody wants official paperwork and stuff. So you have the paperwork, but that's just a legal thing. So you can do marriages and other ceremonies in your state, like by the law legally, right? But what shamanism really is like, if people in your community, if you have trained yourself and you have those skills and you can do these things, and people in your community trust you, even if it's just a tribe of 50 people living in the middle of Siberia, and like that's all you need, right? That's if people trust you and your methods work. What is it? I know we're going to speak a lot about this later on as well, but what is it? It's what's like a quick, broad definition of shamanism, and how does it differ between all these cultures around the world? You guys, if I remember right, it's you've been trained in like the Lakota and Peruvian ways, if I remember right. But what is the difference in between those, and how does it compare to shaman traditions from around the world?
I really don't think it differs. Like I had said before, it doesn't differ from what they do, each tribe. Like Christine knows, I go to New Mexico a lot, and I met a Lakota, pure Lakota, and he, with his ways, I'm learning a lot through him, for hours and hours.
His phone conversations are like no other.
Yeah, they just go on and on and on. But the shamanism, say here, compared to the shamanism where you are on the West Coast, or where he is in the Southwest, or in Peru, it's mainly the same. Like I said, it's just different beliefs. Now, with the Lakota, it's a little bit different. They do a lot of medicine wheel. And their shamans, like he tells me, he says, no. He goes, you're not a shaman. Because their shamans are born within the family. They are born into the family. But what he calls me is a wasabi teacher, which is, the word wasabi is wisdom. You're a wisdom teacher. You're teaching the wisdom of your knowledge and spreading it. So they believe that shamans are born within the tribe. Shamans, other places like Peru, they just want people to carry it out. They want shamanism to continue and never die. So they're going to die, but they want their wisdom to get out and be out in the world. So, like Alberto says that his shamans are Western shamans, which is a big difference. It's the people of the West learning shamanism, and they want that. They want it to be spread out in the West. So shamanism is all the same. It's just where it originates from, and it's different, but the same. It's hard to explain. It really is the same wherever you go.
They all have that same animistic principle, to where everything is energy,
Right.
everything is flow, everything is rhythm and connectiveness. The thing that makes a difference is mostly the environment, the culture, the environment. Like we were saying, the animals are different, the medicine that you use, the plants themselves are different, all that kind of stuff. It's the environment, but the same soul is still there. That's the best way to describe it, I think.
So you, Christine, your course is on the Peruvian Munay-ki rites. We were going to speak a little bit about that today. Can you explain what that is for the newer audience?
Yeah, I'll give that to you, Christine, being that you did all those super books.
I did all those super books. Yes. So the Munay-ki is a more recent thing exposed to the general public. The Munay-ki used to be rites just exclusively to the Peruvian shamans, the Cuero tribe in Peru, specifically in,
That's
that.
right. Yeah, that's right.
actually the Cuero tribe in Peru. I get a little tongue-tied. I apologize with that. And they are, like Silver Wolf was saying, they are very adamant now on getting shamanism out.
I just want to break in 1 second. Just 1 second. So people understand, the tribe she's speaking about is an offspring of the Incas. So
Yes.
this goes way back to the Incas. This is an Inca blessing, Munay-ki.
Yes.
It comes from the Incas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I just want to tie it in.
Yes, I was going to throw it in. So yes, there is a lineage that goes through it, and actually in the course that we have released right now to the public, there's a whole section just on the lineage alone. But yes, these are ancient ways of teaching, and I really like to call them kind of like the bread and butter of shamanism. I think what it is, the rites are all there's actually 10 rites. They're all different perspectives on reconnecting with the greater picture of the rhythms and cycles and energy of this planet. It's getting you to release the unhealthy ego parts of us, because yes, having an ego, there's a difference between having an unhealthy ego and having a self-recognized ego. We are gifted with a consciousness. So with a consciousness, we're able to be a part of this energy and also manipulate it, use it, provide medicine to grow things, to trigger a act of kindness from one person to another, and so on and so forth. Because the greater goal is to heal Pachamama, is to heal Mother Earth, is to have everybody kind of back in these cycles and rhythms that we've been so far disconnected from, especially in the West. Like we said, this tribe specifically is focusing on having healing and rhythms and cycles and shamanism back in the Western cultures, because we're one of those places in the world that are very, very disconnected. These rites are, the course we're teaching is actually 9 seeds. There is a 10th one, and where I'm tossing up the idea of releasing that last one at the moment. But each one of them, like I said, is designed to kind of give you a very dedicated path of like the ultimate shadow work. It is to strip you of that large egotistical view of the I and make you part of the we in every way, shape, or form. There's units on humanitarianism. There's units on connecting to mountains, to connecting to cosmos. You have to pick your own mountain and star in this course. I have hands-on ways of integrating it. You're going to be working through the medicine wheel as far as the animal archetypes go, the Peruvian animal archetypes, working with the underworld, the upper world, this world, everything. I can go on for hours.
You touched on it just a bit, but why would you say the Munay-ki rites? Why is that a good starting point for beginners who are maybe just coming into it and want to learn more and maybe want to eventually do it professionally like you guys do?
Yes, it's really good for that because it teaches you to be in rhythm and to understand energy flow. If you don't have an animistic point of view, if you don't understand energy, if you don't feel energy, if you're not part of energy, you can't be a shaman. You can't take medicine from the other worlds and bring it into this one. You can't see a bigger perspective as to what's going to be the bigger picture to be better for humanity. So this course gives you that understanding of connection, so you can go off into whatever spiritual path you want to go into. Yes, it's really good for shamanism, but it can actually apply to pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Starting point is, of course, to get into anything like that if anyone is interested. And I'll link that down below, and also probably in the video I'll put it up here somewhere where you can find that course. A question on the fly here, because it's something I've been doing a lot of research on lately. The tools, you spoke a little bit about the rocks or the crystals or the fire. I've been doing a lot of research, especially in the Norse tradition. Probably the most used tools are staffs and distaffs. So what are some of the most common tools used in shamanism, either in your practice or from traditions around the world? I know staffs are very common everywhere, but what are some of the most common things found, and how does that tie into animism and how those are used in the ceremony or ritual or whatever?
Well, we use feathers. I do have an eagle feather, which is the highest bird on the totem. Drums, rattles, some sort of. I have a black onyx knife, some kind of blade. If you want to do cord cuttings, you got to have a good blade. And those are the tools that are used. Of course, like I said, the blade is used for cord cuttings. Something that is attached to you that no longer you want. That's another way of getting rid of. The difference with cord cutting and the extraction is the extraction, you don't know what's attached to you. It's some form of negative energy, bad energy. Cord cutting could be a loved one, a spouse you're getting rid of that is still clinging to you, and you need to cut away. The drums and the rattles, they're used in the clearing of the luminous body around you. That's the energy that is, well, I'll compare it to aura. Mm-hmm. So we call it a luminous body, others call it the aura of the body. You want to clear that space around the person. You would use a rattle. The rattle stirs it up and breaks that energy up, that it knows it's got to leave. It's on its way out. And the drum ceremony, it's the heartbeat of Pachamama. That's the heartbeat. So those are what we use. And Christine, you got some other stuff you must use.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I'm a again crow. I'll start actually with the similarity. So I actually took down my drum here. Mm-hmm. So something I love to make is connections. Those connections with shamanism from all over the place. And I love Nordic shamanism is something I personally took on. I actually wear what is the sun cross in Nordic shamanism and the Siberian shamanism, but it's a medicine wheel in Peruvian and Lakota shamanism. So I get to have the best of both worlds right on my neck. Anyway, so the drum, I love the connection between the drum, between the different cultures. So in, like Anthony said, like Silver Wolf said, that the drum is the rhythm, the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Mm-hmm. It's the actual rhythm itself that's important. You beat certain beats per minute, all that kind of stuff, and they do different things. Like people have classically heard of like rain dances, stuff like that. The way that the drum is beaten matters the most. With Siberian shamanism, it's the drum itself that matters the most, like the tone that it makes, not necessarily how you're beating it, but it's the tone of the drum. So different size drums are more common in Siberian shamanism, and also writings on the drum. With Peruvian and Lakota stuff with the drums, you don't often find writing on them. Like some of them are artwork, like they'll have artwork on it, but the writing doesn't necessarily have a purpose. It's more of like, it's an honored retired drum.
Right. So and they use different skins.
Yes.
They use like elk skin means something, in the buffalo and deer. They use different skins other than writing. Yeah.
So this drum, a friend of mine put this bind rune sigil, I don't even call this is her creativeness, put this on this drum for when I'm using it, it's for a trance state specifically. It's for astral travel specifically. And it's also specifically to call medicine from another plane for somebody else. So it's to get me in that worked up state to get the medicine I need to provide. So you have like those similarities. They both use drums. They both use staves, and then I have my more modern take on things. So I work with specifically crystal skulls. Crystal skulls, that's a whole thing I can go into on my own, another whole big podcast that would be. But there's a lot of ancient legends of them carrying a consciousness. They provide medicine. I work with divination. I work with runes. I work with tarot and oracle cards. I work with pendulums and My pendulum specifically is actually, they call it like a hag stone or like a fairy stone or something. You can kind of see through it. Because again, it's supposed to be the transition between worlds. The object of the tools, regardless of where you go, whether it's a rattle, whether it's a bell, whether it's a drum. And if you don't have a rattle, or you don't have a drum, or you can clap, you can sing, you can rattle some jewelry. The common denominator is to stir energy. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to stir in energy, bring energy, repel energy. Again, that very common denominator between all. And it's just the ways of the people that use it that change it. And also, like, specifically, like Silver Wolf's drumming is very different from mine. It would be the way we would treat people is differently, even though he trained me specifically. It's our individual healing that we bring out. So oftentimes me and Silver Wolf actually share clients, because somebody being treated by him will benefit from something that I can provide, and vice versa. Because again, the end goal is that healing. So we may use the same tools sometimes, but they mean different things. So it's very individual towards the person too.
Perfect. Yeah, so that's about all the questions I had. Is there any more subjects you both wanted to touch on before we finished?
I just want to add one thing. And to me, it's important because I always, like the word gratitude came up. You have to have more gratitude than ego. Ego, you have to get rid of and be more grateful and show your gratitude. The other thing is, with this shamanism, it's all about Pachamama and giving to her and healing her children. The biggest thing I'm with is, everybody loves flowers. They take flowers. I take what I need. I make Florida water, spirit water, and I use cedar. So I'll cut cedar from the tree because that's the best form of cedar to get. Not an oil, you get the actual cedar of the tree. I just want everybody to really show gratitude to Pachamama, because she gives us everything we need: food, beauty. If you ever take anything from her, a flower or the cedar, when I take from her, I give her tobacco. If you don't have tobacco, give it a piece of chocolate. And you just tell her, thank you. Thank you, I'll use this for the good. And you always show gratitude to her. I just want to make that's important to me. That's a key factor, is that gratitude.
Yeah, always show that gratitude. And like I said, if you don't have a specific item, like tobacco is specifically a Native American thing. If, it has to be something that's meaningful from you. Like one of my sisters, she likes to give coins and stuff like that. It's something that's specific to you, because your intention of having that gratitude, the item that you give. And again, that could be very regional, like while, sage and Palo Santo and stuff like that are very specific to those regions. With the Nordic stuff, it's mugwort. That's the biggest thing. You can give mugwort if you want to do something. Always give something back.
Great, I like it a lot. Thank you. And I see, I like the whole practice revolves around healing and especially healing Mother Earth. We have that too in the Norse tradition. It's Yud, of course, Thor's mother. We just don't have as many still existing sources about actual things that were done back then. But the Sami, the indigenous people of Scandinavia, definitely have the same thing. So it makes sense that it all ties back these practices into healing Mother Earth. So that's all then. If you guys would like to give some shout outs, where can they find you? Do you have any projects people can support you at? Do you have any books people can get? Anything you'd like to give a shout out is happy to do so now.
So right now we're working on getting more so on the online community. If you go on to it's www.sacredtemplewellness.com. You can find us everywhere. Like on that website, you can get links to our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. But again, our online presence is kind of new because a lot of this stuff is done in person. So there's a shop that we have on Staten Island and everything that we work for. We're working on expanding and all that stuff. We'll see how time goes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, right now the best place would be to find us either at Sacred Temple Wellness on Facebook or on Instagram. We actually have a Facebook group that you can be part of, and we do tons of, fun, free, and like kind of weird. Like we do a whole bunch of things in our group. We do group readings for everybody that's in there. Like we have all of our readers on board, and we do like fun readings together. I will occasionally post like a fun class on making spirit water or doing this or that or whatever quirkiness that I feel like throwing out there. For some reason, Silver Wolf here trusts me with a lot of stuff.
I think, yeah.
You get all this craziness, but we just hang out there and have a lot of fun. Like I said, our Munay-ki course is very new, very recent, because it was just released to the public. Alberto and his wife Marcella taught it to Silverwolf, who taught it to me, and so on and so forth. That course is open for enrollment now. It closes though by the 29th. If you see this afterwards, it's okay. It'll open again next year. You just go on our website and you join our mailing list, or you join into any of our groups, you'll know. You'll know eventually. We like to keep these classes small too. There's limited enrollment because we feel each person needs very specific dedication. So you go through an interview process before you can even come in with us. But yeah, you can find us online and find all this funness and uniqueness, and you can just come and be yourself. That's the whole point of Sacred Temple Wellness. It doesn't matter what life path you follow, you can come and be a part of it. So.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Gentleman Silverworth, you said it was a shop you had on Staten Island?
Yeah, it's a shop. It's on Staten Island. It started out as a trading post. Then when COVID hit, it kind of wiped us down a little bit, and traffic-wise, people coming in. So now it's more of a wellness type center. I do massage there. I do my shaman work there. And we still have some product. We have crystals. We have some Native American items. So if you do go on the Sacred Temple Wellness, you'll see the address and everything on there.
Perfect,
yeah, anybody in the New York, New Jersey,
Yeah.
Long Island, all that kind of area, you can find us there. So
Sounds good. All right. Well, that's all for today. Then thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I'll post the links down below to everybody watching, and I hope to speak to you guys again soon.
Thank you.
thank you.